The Project Development Agency Bill, when established when- into law, will have the mandate to, among others, conduct research in engineering machinery and equipment, industrial materials and processing to pilot plant stages, including engineering design, development and fabrication, and in particular, to conduct research into material sciences and technology, including metallurgical, foundry works, plastics, and synthetic fibers. Processing of ceramic materials and other solid base minerals from industrial use, including development of ceramic, glass, and mineral technologies. Processing of agro produce into various byproducts through development of appropriate technology and machinery requirements. Most importantly, carry out mechanical engineering, including engineering design, fabrication, machining, and other processes. Carry out coal conversion and utilization. Very importantly, carry out chemical plant development, and more so, carry out electrical and electronic elements, particularly electrical generators, motors, transformers, switch gears, batteries, and other equipments. More so, undertake economic valuation of research results to establish their viability in micro, small, medium, and large enterprises development. It will carry out training in specialized technical areas and award proficiency certificates. Establish a specially advanced technology center with a postgraduate degree awarding curriculum in science and technology in collaboration with an accredited university. Carry out technical, analytical, and consultancy services for existing and planned industries, and handle any other related matter as may be determined by the Honorable Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, or President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, taking, taking into cognizance the existence of the agency over the past 53 years. You know, here, there may be, maybe myself, maybe any other person who was not yet born when this institute came on board. And yet, the developments in industry and policy trust of the government, it is expedient to provide the needed legislative framework for the agency to operate optimally as it will, provide a robust legal framework which will strengthen and reposition the agency to effectively discharge its statutory duties, bring about operational improvements. I therefore urge my respected distinguished colleagues, Mr. President, to support this bill for a second reading. I so move. Thank you.
Yes, we are going to allow 2 minutes for everyone to contribute. I'll start with Senator Abaribe, then Senator Mongono.
It's like it's not okay. Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Sain Abaribe. I'm representative of Abia South in this Senate. I want to thank Senator Ndubweze while seconding his motion for bringing to fore something that I think most of us have actually um, not known. This particular agency has always been part of what the Senate members and members of the House of Rep were always dealt with them, and I never knew that it actually didn't have an enabling law. So I think that this is, yes, I think this is a fairly straightforward thing that we're not going to lose a lot of this in over. And I want to urge all of us to approve this second reading. I so submit.
Thank you, Senator Abaribe. This program has been in existence for several years. It's an agency that we all know. I'm sure most of us here have executed our constituency projects through PRODA. So, what this bill is seeking to do is what was not done ab initio, that is, creating the legal enabler for its existence. So, it's something that will call for a very lengthy debate so that we can move on to do other things. And Patrick de Bruze, I don't know how you got the information. It shows uh, how good he is in terms of dealing with matters relating to his area and the nation at large. And he was able to bring it forward. So let me yield the floor to Senator Mongono, the Chairman Committee on Judiciary, to just say one or two words so that we can now move forward because it's already in existence, no much debate about it.
Mr. President, distinguished members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. As we lawyers say, this bill is res ipsa locutor. It speaks for itself.
Is what?
Res ipsa locutor. It speaks for itself. It's merely an invitation to this Senate to do the needful as per Section 4 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which gave this august body the power to legislate for the peace, order, and good governance of this country. So it's an invitation for us to do the needful, to give the agency that is already in existence the legal teeth to back and bite in the course of discharge of his statutory mandate. So as you rightly pointed out, it's not something that is uh, uh, that requires much debate, but rather to pass it for second reading with the speed of light without much ado. Thank you.
Thank you, but
What point of order, sir?
Chief Emeritus is adamant he wants to say something because I know he likes Poda because he had done so many projects, his constituency project through Poda. So he wants to round up the debate. So please round up so that we can move.
No,
Once
Mr.
you,
President, it's not a matter of rounding up. My name is Oji Ozokalo. I represent Abia North. I was just getting up my hand to second the motion, but our brother Abaribe already done that. And you call Senator Mongono, who gave a legal backing to it. I think, in supporting the motion of Senator Ndubeze, I think he has done a lot, and I urge most senators to go around and see other uh, entities like PRODA that are not backed by law. It's not only PRODA, there are many other entities like this that are not backed up by law. I encourage one and every one of us to see what we can do in uh, looking for entities like this that are not backed up by law. Mr. President, PRODA can be very useful to the country because there are a lot of young men and women. There is something they are doing now. If they are successful by the side, not by ZIP or something, they are trying to do a 35 kVA generator, and they are doing it. And once it's successful, to be run by water. Once it's successful, no diesel, no petrol, nothing. If it's successful, it will be good for me and for you. Thank you, Mr. President, for giving me the opportunity.
point of order. Point of order. Who is the person? Okay, Senator Deputy Minority Whip.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'm coming and under order 41, matter of urgent public importance, and 42, personal explanation. Sir,
But the order you mentioned,
yes, sir.
the period to raise it has passed. Um, I'm constrained that we can take that, but I'll allow you to go on being a principal officer on the personal explanation. But the other order is belated
Okay, the personal
by
explanation, sir.
virtue of
Mr. President, personal explanation.
even personal explanation is belated. But you know there are certain privileges that are given to you can do that, but the entire orders you raise, they're all belated. But go on to the personal explanation.
Sir,
I
I
think it
want
should be
to come
something.
in. Sorry to
No, it's point. He said point of order.
point
And
of
when it's
order.
point of order, you must, respond by allowing the person to raise. But is it related to this matter?
No,
Oh, okay. Then just wait. Let's finish with this.
it's okay.
Let's finish it. So let's round up this. I'm sorry. The bill on PRODA is very straightforward. Um, on PRODA, okay.
Am I recognized? Am I recognized?
Point of order, okay. Come here. Order 42, right?
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
So let's not waste our time. Let me just take you through order 39, 38. Unless the Senate otherwise directs, the business of each sitting day shall be transacted in the following order. One, formal entry of the President of the Senate. Two, prayers. Three, approval of votes and proceedings. Four, oath stroke affirmation of allegiance and the oath stroke affirmation of membership of new senators elect. Five, message from the President of the Federal Government of Nigeria. Six, order announced by the President of the Senate. Seven, petition. Eight, matter of urgent public importance. Nine, personal explanation. And 10, order of the day. So we are now on 10. We've gone through all those things where you are coming from. We have passed that.
No, Mr. President,
So this
it's on
Senate
this matter.
cannot-
It's on this matter of PRODA. It's information I want to give the Senate. The information I want to give.
Excuse me, but
Yes.
the order you came through, you cannot use that to ventilate your view on PRODA. What you need to do is to raise your hand to be invited to contribute. And we made it very clear. This is a serious Senate. We have a lot on our other paper, several things. PRODA has been in existence. We know PRODA. I know PRODA. Everyone here knows PRODA. So let's not begin to waste time on this. The
This
issue
is
is
legal information, Mr. President. It won't take you 1 minute.
okay. Now, keep that your order aside.
You okay?
And since you are, well, I'll just give you 1 second, 2 seconds to say what you want to say.
1 second is enough. Mr. President.
Second is gone.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, what I want to correct is the impression that there is no law covering PRODA as it is today. Even the paper says it was later taken over by the federal government through National Science and Technology Development Agency Decree number 5 of 1977.
It's a law.
That is a law.
Senator Dixon, please guide us.
That is a law
was that became an act under the Constitution.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. Henry Sirake Dixon, Bayelsa West. Mr. President, I wanted to, as I said, gently draw the Senate's attention to the fact that whereas a review of this product law will be imperative, will be advisable, but to set the record straight for the Senate, so that all of us and even people who may read the answers and watching us will know that this Senate is properly guided, is that it is not correct that there's no enabling law. As our colleague has rightly said, PRODA was established by Decree 5 of 1977, and by the Constitution, the transitional provisions, it has a provision saving all those military laws, decrees in the case of the federal government, and edicts in the case of the various state governments. But having said that, it doesn't detract from the necessity for a review or an amendment. Um, after all, product, this decree we're talking about started since 1977. And with the technological developments, and all of us are aware of what PRODA is doing and what we need to support them to do more to advance technology and development in our country. So I support, after bringing this gently to the attention of the state, I support my good friend's bill, that we read it for a second time, so that when the stakeholders meet during the public hearing, we can now add more flesh to it. But just to keep the record straight, Decree 5 provided the legal framework.
Thank you, Senator
Thank you very
Dixon.
much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Senator Ezra. Thank you very much for guiding the Senate appropriately. We may allow it. You want to respond?
Explanation. Mr. President, I appreciate my distinguished senators with their contributions. I want to draw your attention. This decree number 5, 1977, that took over through National Science and Technology Development Agency, if you go through our law books, it's not no more they are cited. One. Two, this law, this bill was passed in the ninth Senate. Lately,
Senator
and not signed.
Ndebezi, thank you very much. Senator Dixon has clearly
Yeah.
said everything. He is not averse to passing, the bill for second reading. He said, "Look, go ahead. Whatever that is there, if there's in fact, he has even expanded the scope. As well, so you should commend him for what he said. He's in support of the bill. So I think we should move forward. Leader, Leader, please be last. Let's not.
Mr. President, well, I think the point must be made clear here that if there is an existing law guiding the existence of this institution, it will be inappropriate for us to pass another bill for a second reading. All we can do is to accept for him to bring up another bill to repeal and reenact a law. That is what we should do.
I think we need to pass through this. By the time it goes second reading, the committee on science and technology, you advise the Senate appropriately. So let's not rush it. Let's stop here. We'll move forward. The bill will refer to the appropriate committee. The appropriate committee will do all the research and investigation, and whatever needs to be done, then we can now do that without any problem. So on this note, let me ask that put the question that those in favor that the bill be now read the second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So the bill is now okay. The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Project Development Agency, PRODA, Enugu, to conduct scientific, engineering, and technological research aimed at facilitating the domestication and industrialization of appropriate technology for socio-economic advancement of Nigeria and for related matters, 2024. Second reading.
A bill for an act providing for the establishment of Project Development Agency, PRODA, Enugu, to conduct scientific, engineering, and technological research aimed at facilitating the domestication and industrialization of appropriate technology for socio-economic advancement of Nigeria and for related matters 2024 second reading taken. Point of order, Senator Mongoro Mohammed Tayer.
Yes, Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is
Sorry,
Mohammed.
sorry. The bill is now referred to the Committee on Science and Technology, chaired by Senator Abbas, to report back within 2 weeks.
My distinguished President of the Senate, distinguished senators, my name is Mohammed Tair Mongono. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. The order I'm trying to invoke is Order 63 of our standing orders on the finality of the decision of the chairman or the Senate President, as the case may be, while presiding. And if, with the indulgence of the President of the Senate, I will read that order, that the President of the Senate in the Senate and the chairman in any committee shall be responsible for the observance of the rules of order in the Senate and the committee respectively, and the decision upon any point of order shall not be open to appeal and shall not be reviewed by the Senate except by a substantive motion after notice. Mr. President, these rules is meant to be observed not in breach, but in compliance. So I'm craving for the indulgence of the President of the Senate to strictly enforce the observance of this rule, because in the motion that was the bill that was immediately passed, after you have ruled, Senator Ezia insisted on speaking and you gave him, allowed him to speak. So once you rule, Mr. President, I'm craving for your indulgence to enforce the observance of this rule, of these rules, in compliance but not in breach, so that we should be properly guided. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Mamugono, learned chairman of Committee on Justice. Your point of order is fully sustained. President.
Your Excellency, the Senate President, the second order of the day, the second reading of Federal Polytechnic Unuike, Ebonyi State Establishment Bill 2023 SB 71. The distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in the chamber on 1st August 2023. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Eze Kenneth Ebeka to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Senator Engineer Eze Kent Emeka, you may wish to stand to move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I stand to move the motion. I stand to move the motion to lead debate on a bill for an act to establish the Federal Polytechnic Onueke, Ezza South Ebonyi State, to provide full-time courses in information and communication technology and applied science, SB 71. Mr. President of the Senate and distinguished colleagues, thank you for the opportunity to lead this debate on the general principle of the bill to establish the Federal Polytechnic, Oneke, Ebonyi State. This bill was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Tuesday, 1st August 2023. Mr. President, the bill proposes the establishment of a federal polytechnic, Oneke, in Ezra South, Ebonyi State, an initiative that holds significant potential in advancing human capital development and providing an assured future for the youth in Nigeria and the Ebonyi Central in particular. Education is the cornerstone of any progressive and prosperous society. It empowers individuals, nurtures talent, and provides a solid foundation for economic development. We must acknowledge the tremendous effort made by the government in expanding access to education for Nigerians, particularly at tertiary level. However, there is still more work to be done, especially in addressing skill-based educational needs of underserved zones and regions. Before now, Mr. President, the quest to acquire higher educational certificates was born out of the sole need for a white-collar job. Perhaps it worked in the past, but times have changed, and our country needs to move with the global trend. Globally, tertiary education is tailored to the skill set of individuals and to solve societal problems. As a reliable instrument for economic re-engineering of nations, polytechnics are renowned for providing practical and skill-based education, specializing in technical discipline, ICT, and applied sciences, which basically admit nations into global community driven by skills and technology acquisition. Mr. President, the secret to economic success and prosperity of developed nations and developing nations such as China, India, Korea, Singapore, and Brazil could be traced to huge investment in technological skill development. According to Mehan Perari 2005, countries are specialized that technical and vocational education training is a means to jump into the bandwagon of globalization. In Europe and Asia, East Asia, including China, technical and vocational education training (TVET) programs account for 50% and 33% respectively of upper secondary enrollment. The tremendous shift of employment to China and countries like India is as a result of preponderance of cheap but highly skilled and technically competent vocational education training that can ignite stellar economic growth. By establishing a federal polytechnic in Oneka South, Ebonyi State, ensures that the youth of this region have access to quality technical education that will enable them to acquire the skills needed for technical competence and self-employment in an increasingly competitive labor market. Also, it is not only justifiable from an economic standpoint, but aligned with the broad vision of the federal government's renewed hope agenda on education, which is skill development for all levels of education. In line with national development priorities, UNESCO also helped to enhance the relevance of technical and vocational education training to equip all youth and adults with the skills required for employment, decent work, entrepreneurship, and lifelong learning. UNESCO's work on global strategy for technical and vocational education training 2016 to 2021 focuses on three key areas, which include fostering youth employment and entrepreneurship, promoting equity and gender equality, and facilitating the transition to green economy and sustainable society. Mr. President, I have attached here with details of the financial implication of this bill for general consideration by distinguished colleagues, in line with Order 76, Section 3 of Senate Standing Rules 2023 as amended. I implore you, my distinguished colleagues, to support this bill, which holds transmo- transformative potentials for our youth and economy for the evolution of a more prosperous and technical competent workforce in Nigeria. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Senator Eze, Kenneth Eze. Now, this is a bill that we've gotten several of this type in this chamber. So let's not waste much time debating it. We'll give two people 2 minutes to ventilate their views on that. Senator Professor Ani, you are from Ebonyi, also a professor. Hmm?
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Anthony, representing the good people of Ebonyi South. I stand to second this motion, this bill rather, because it seeks to address what is in vogue. Time has gone when conventional education was sought for. Now, what is being emphasized is practical oriented courses, and the polytechnic education is advanced form of technical education that has much to do with vocational studies, practical study, entrepreneurial studies. So in this regard, I'm in total support of this bill. However, I would suggest that a caution is made for specialization. In some time past, some higher institutions that were meant to be specialized institutions like Federal Universities of Technology were established. Federal colleges of universities of education were established. But as time progressed, they turned these institutions to conventional universities and institutions. I think in this case, I suggest, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, that the curriculum should be made in such a way that specialization is emphasized. In that way, the main objective of establishing this institution will be achieved. Having said this, I wholeheartedly support this bill. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Jimmy Bryan, then Senator Vita will run it up.
Thank you, Mr. Senate President. My name is Timo Ibrahim, Honorable Shaw, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, CFR, represent PHG Kantam, representing the good people of Ondo South. It's needless to say that establishment of federal polytechnics of this nature is a pivotal edifice for national development. Given the data, over 6 million university secondary school students graduate every year. The university cannot admit more than 1 million. We have a surplus of 5 million people. That's why, Mr. Senate President, you see good people selling things on the road. Even if they have 5 credits, they don't have university to go. They can't even go. There's no space. There's no capacity. So there is under capacity utilization and over capacity utilization or lack of capacity. So I lend my voice to support this incredible bill. I even think that in every senatorial district, come to think about it, there should be a federal polytechnic because of the numbers of secondary school that will turn out every year. And specific to this very bill is the issue of running courses on information and uh, communication technology. This again brings about strategy innovation, that there is need to be innovative. Innovation is powered by communication and is powered by information. So to summarize all I'm saying, for the purpose of the record of the 10th Senate, I think there should be establishment of this type of school in every senatorial district. And my colleagues in this Senate, it will be a thing of joy when you retire from Senate and you see that institute that you established, that very protect. Given the numbers of the secondary school students that graduates every year, 6 million. Our university have no capacity beyond 1 million. University of Ife, where I graduated from, cannot take more than 50,000. Zaria, its counterpart, can't take more than 100,000 students in a year. There is space. What are we doing with the money? We can't be printing 30 trillion and not be able to set up a school that is less than 5 billion. I move my distinguished colleagues in this hollow chamber to compel the federal government to establish a federal polytechnic in each senatorial district beyond this bill. And this is significant if this nation must move forward. It's a statement to you, Mr. Senate President, that we have a unanimous bill where we all converge and resolve that one polytechnic each for each senatorial district. We go home celebrating. We'll be happy. We feel this vacancy that is literally in our system. I urge you, Mr. Senate President, to lend your voice, your golden voice, of course, to this type of national important matter on the floor of the Senate. My distinguished colleagues, I congratulate you ahead of passing the bill here. Beyond this, that every senatorial district should have a federal polytechnic, given the urgency and the data of the number of people leaving secondary school that cannot afford to go to university or that don't have university in their domain. I so support wholeheartedly, legally, and senatorial wise. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your wonderful contribution. We are not surprised because it's a researcher, that has 9 PhDs, including the PhD from Cambridge University. So I'm not surprised that he's making this a sound proposal. In any case, I said it the other day that the United States of America has over 4,000 universities. 4,000 universities, and they are 300 something billion. We are not trying to compare ourselves with them, but we have to work hard. If they that are now okay have 4,000, we that are struggling should have 8,000, so that we can get to where they are. So, but in any case, we are constrained by lack of money. We are trying, and we should do more in providing schools for our teeming youth that desire to be educated. And to be frank with you, I thank God that I was able, not in this Senate, when I'm the Deputy President of the Senate, when I was an ordinary senator, I worked very hard to making sure that I got fed up with establishing in my local government, in my village. So I will support anyone that desire to do the same. So Senator Ome, please run it off.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume, OFR, represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to support this bill. Just that Senator Jumu Ibrahim will have to bring another bill for his own suggestion of us having one polytechnic in each senatorial district. This one we are considering establishment of federal polytechnic Onoke in Ezza South local government area of Ebonyi State. I rise to support this bill because, Mr. President, I know the environment being canvassed for this polytechnic to be cited. The Ezra people of Ebonyi State are very large people in that state. And they have a teeming population of young people that need technical education. This polytechnic, if approved, in line with the debate, the debate emphasizes technical education, skilled education, vocational education. Just like Senator Tonyani said, let us not run into when this polytechnic is established, they start offering courses in banking, finance, management, and leave the technical education, which this bill is seeking to achieve for the youth of that area. So this polytechnic is very important, and it will help to provide education to these people. I know them, I understand them. They need this type of formal education on a higher level so that they can acquire skills and go into things canvassed for in this big debate, like electrical things, all manners of technical things they can do there. They can learn skills to do even POP, building, all manners of things. This is how to achieve it. So let it not be a conventional polytechnic where people go even to study English, banking and finance, management. Let it be solely confined to technical education to a higher degree. So if it is done, I can tell you that the exact people have enough young people who can acquire these skills and help to contribute to national development. So I support this bill, and I thank Senator Keneze. He's really representing his people well. He knows their needs. So if we get this one approved, we'll wait for the bill of Senator Jimo Ibrahim so that I can put one polytechnic in my own senatorial district. We don't presently have, but a bill that will make it possible has to come, not this one. I thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Senator Kenneth Eze, an engineer. So I'm not surprised that you brought this bill forward for bringing forward this bill. It shows that you are a really caring representative of your people. Uh, getting a polytechnic established is something that's very good. Going by the contemporary happenings in the whole world, you have new innovations, technological innovation like AI, which is what is in vogue. Without this kind of polytechnic, students, our youth cannot have access to having uh, these kind of you know technological know-how. So it's something that we should commend you for. And we commend all those that contributed, Zima Ibrahim, Victor Ome, and who again? All those who contributed. We gave a wonderful contributions, and we look forward to having that day, that period when all central zones will have polytechnics. On this note, let me put a question. Those in favor that the bill now be read second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish Federal Polytechnic Onweke Ebonyi State to provide full-time courses in technology, applied science, management, and other fields of studies, and to make provisions for its general administration and for other related matters 2024. Second reading.
A bill for an act to establish the Federal Polytechnic Lake, Ebonyi State, to provide full-time courses in technology, applied science, management, and other field of studies, and to make provisions for the general administration and for other related matters 2024 second reading taken. And This bill is committed to the Committee on Tertiary and Industry and Telecom to report back within 2 weeks. The leader of the Senate.
The President of Senate, distinguished colleagues, the third order of the day, the second reading of the National Art Commission Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 344. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Thursday, 15 February 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Abbas Aminu here to move the motion for the bill to be read a second time.
Senator Abbas, the floor is either to you to present your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I'm Aminu Abbas, representing Adamawa Central District, Adamawa State. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, permit me to respectfully move a motion and lead debate on a very important bill which seeks to amend National Health Commission and NACO Establishment Act 2006 for efficiency, accountability in the operations of the Commission. The bill was read first on the floor of this chamber on the 15th day of February 2024. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, you may recall that National Health Commission of Nigeria was established in 2006, serving as regulatory agency on Muslim pilgrims, overseeing activities of states, Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Boards, FCT, and tour agents. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, you might also wish to note that the present practice allow state pilgrims welfare board handles accommodation and feeding of their pilgrims in Mecca, while NACON handles the accommodation and feeding of all pilgrims in Medina and Mashayikh, which is Mina and Arafat. The practice, of course, creates many inconveniences to pilgrims and affect NACON's ability to effective regulatory function. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I wish to further note that NACON screen airlines companies and qualify them for airlift of pilgrims and go further to allocate airlines to states, which practice itself is against the regulatory function of NACON. This bill, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, therefore seek to amend Section 4 of the Principal Act to involve states of the Federation and Federal Capital Territory in selection of airlines for Hajj operations, as well as allow states and FCT to manage accommodation and feeding of pilgrims in Medina and Mashayikh as may be regulated by NACON. Mr. President, my respected colleagues, the passage of this amendment bill will allow NACO to carry out its primary regulatory function, responsibility, and guarantee more efficient, accountable, and seamless Hajj operation for Nigeria. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I thank you immensely for the kind of attention and solicit for your support for this bill to be read for the second time and eventually passed into law. I so move, Mr. President.
Okay. Senator Mohammed I was trying to look for another person because he has been speaking severally. I didn't see anyone.
Okay. My name is Mohammed Tahir Munguno, distinguished President of the Senate, distinguished senators. I think our rule says whoever your eyes catches, and your eyes catch me. So, Mr. President, distinguished senators, this bill is very, very apt and germane especially against the backdrop of the fact that you cannot be a regulator and operator at the same time. By combining both roles, you are descending into the arena, therefore compromising your primary duty of being a regulator. So in order to avert such an ugly scenario of regulator being an operator, descending into the arena, thereby compromising its primary responsibility, I think this bill is apt and germane and should be passed for second reading. Thank you.
The Deputy Managing Leader.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues. My name is Oyewumi Kamarudin Olalere. I represent Osulori Central District of Osun State. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak on this very important and timely bill. I want to commend the sponsor, Senator Abbas Abinuya. Sir, you know, the number of people that attend Hajj every year in Nigeria is very high. And for those of us that have attended 1, 2, 3 times, people that are always compendium of problems in terms of accommodation, in terms of feeding. So, I mean, that is why I have to commend Senator Abbas for us to come and separate that responsibility. There is no way the state where you have a committee from each state should not be involved in the welfare of the people that attend in their state, while the national just moderate and monitor, as the last speaker said. I think it is a very right step in the right direction, and to assist our people in maintaining their welfare at, during the Hajj Commission. So, as you second, the motion has been timely and a good step to assisting our pilgrims when they are in Hajj. As you second.
Senator Yunus, if I'm not mistaken, former Amir Hajj of Oyo State.
Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I've never been a Amir Hajj in my state, but I've always been performing Hajj. Sir,
That's why I say Amir Hajj, because you always.
you can make me Amir Hajj of the Federation. I will appreciate that. Mr. President, sir, let me appreciate the mover of this motion again, as rightly said by the last speaker. For those that have performed Hajj severally, you will notice the hardship Muslims used to pass through during the exercise, most especially when you understand the process yourself. It's wrong contrary to logic that somebody will sit in Abuja, in an office here, and we decide the airline that will take pilgrims from Adamawa, from Imo, from Katsina to Hajj. I think, as rightly pointed out, they can screen the airline, they can approve the airline, but the selection should be left for the states. That's number one. Number two, it has been well established. And Senator Aminu here will be my witness. We were there together last year. You notice that they will promise them that pilgrims will be in Medina for 5, 10 days. They will feed them 3 times in a day, and so on. Hardly will Nigerian pilgrims get food once. But if the state is taking care of their own pilgrims, the money they paid, nobody will rip them off of their money. And we will know that it will now be a collective responsibility, even the federal legislators, to look after their pilgrims there. So I want to commend the mover of this motion, and I want to support the motion that will separate the activities of the NACON from the State Pilgrims Commission. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is very straightforward. I think we should put the question. The fact is this: you cannot be a regulator and then an operator. I agree, and I'm sure so many senators here will agree. Allow the state to select their airlines, then you regulate. If they bring the airline, go and check. Are they worthy to, be used by the government to elite the pilgrims, their airworthiness, and so on and so forth. We have an agency in place that they can use. Not, it shouldn't be something that will not be professional. They can use one of the, is it airport authority or whoever is concerned, the authorities that certify train, I mean, sorry, planes to be used in the country, they can also do the same for these airlines that are going to be picked by the states. So I'm sure everybody, it's not a decision of one person, but I think it's something that is in the right direction. To this end, let me put the question, and I commend Senator Abbas for his foresight in bringing forward this bill. Also, commend those who contributed to the debate. And this is let me quickly put the question. Those in favor that the bill be now read its time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The leader. Sorry. Time. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the National Health Commission of Nigeria 2006 to involve states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory in the selection of airline agencies for Hajj operations to promote efficiency, accountability, and for related matters 2024. Second reading.
A bill for an act to amend the National Health Commission of Nigeria 2006 to involve state of the Federation and Federal Capital Territory in the selection of airline agencies for Hajj operations to provide efficiency, accountability, and for related matters 2024 second reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Your Excellency,
The bill is committed to the Committee on Foreign Affairs, if I'm not mistaken, to report back in 2 weeks. Committee on Foreign Affairs to report back in 2 weeks. The chairman is here. Continue.
Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, the fourth order of the day is presentation and consideration of report on Committee on Education, Basic and Secondary School, on the National Institute for Educational Planning and Administration Bill 2024 SB 267. Distinguished senators recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Tuesday, 7th May 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Usman Lawal Adamu, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for presentation and consideration of the report.
Chairman, Senate Committee on Basic Education, the floor is yielded to you.
Mr. President, distinguished colleague, my name is Senator Lawal Adamu Usman, representing the good people of Kaduna Central. I move that the Senate do receive and consider the bill for an act to establish the National Institute for Educational Planning, Administration, and other related matters connected therewith 2024. I so move, Mr. President.
You can continue.
I have the motion already.
Okay, seconder, please. Senator Samson. Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may wish to present your report.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the Senate at its sitting on Tuesday, 7th May 2024, consider and read the second time a bill for an act to establish the National Institute for Educational Planning and Administration and other related matters, connected therewith, sponsored by Senator Suleiman Umar Sadiq Warano, and refers same to the Committee on Education, Basic and Secondary for further legislative action to report in 2 weeks. The committee met on the 9th May 2024, considered the bill alongside the report on the bill as passed by the 9th Senate, and resolved to retain the clause contained therewith. Observation. The committee made the following observation and finding in the course of its assignment. The bill, which seeks to establish the National Institute for International Planning and Administration and provide legal framework for its function in the conduct of education research, development, and other matters relating to education planning, administration, capacity building, workshop, seminars, conference for education planners and administration in Nigeria, has 28 clauses. The institute was established and located in Ondo State by the federal government in 1992 as an agency under the Federal Ministry of Education, and has been operating under the national budget since then without an enabling law. The bill was passed by the 9th Senate on the 10th of May 2023, having gone through the necessary legislative process, including public hearing held on the 10th November 2022, but could not be transmitted to the House of Representatives for concurrence for want of time, and therefore consider not to be required for another public hearing. However, the committee considered the bill at its meeting on Thursday, 9th May 2024, and retained the clauses as referred to in it. The committee therefore recommend and move that the Senate do consider the recommendation as contained in the bill attached to this report. I so move, Mr. President.
Well, in the absence of any observation, we should move to the committee of the whole to go through clause by clause consideration of the bill. The leader.
Mr. President, I stand to move that we resolve to committee of whole to consider the report. I so move.
Madam Leader.
President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues, I rise to support the motion that the Senate resolve into the Committee of the Whole to consider the report of the Committee on Education, Basic and Second. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader and seconded by the leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the long-term should stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those in favor that the stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Those in favor that they should start part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Those that agree that it should stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 17, 18, 19, 20. Those in favor that it should stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Those in agreement that it should stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Close. Those in favor that this planetary memorandum should stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Eh? Those in favor that the schedules and the long title stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I move that we should refer back to plenary for Senate President to report progress.
The minority leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I raise to second the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary for the chair to report progress.
Those in agreement with the motion moved by the leader and second by the minority leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate and the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Education, Basic and Secondary on the National Institute for Educational Planning and Administration, Establishment Bill 2024, and approval as follows. Long title as recommended, number of clauses 1 to 20 as recommended, interpretation, clause 27 as recommended, short title, clause 28 as recommended, schedules 1 to 2 as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Of the whole? The leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I start to move that this bill be read the third time. I so move.
A bill on how to establish. Minority leader, sorry.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I support the motion that this bill be read a third time. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader and second by the minority leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the National Institute for Educational Planning and Administration and for other matters connected therewith, 2024, third reading.
A bill on how to establish the National Institute for additional planning and administration, and for other matters connected there with 2024, third reading taken and passed. The leader of the Senate.
Your Excellency, the President of Senate, the fifth order of the day Mr. President, the fifth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of report of Committee on Local and Foreign Debts on 2022-2024 external borrowing ruling plan for Bureau of Public Enterprise. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Haruna Manu, the Vice Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the Senate to receive and consider the report of the committee.
Senator Haruna Manu, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I remain Haruna Manu. I represent Taraba Central. Mr. President, I received the leave of the Senate to move for a motion to lay the report for the proposed 2022 to 2024 external borrowing rolling plan for Bureau of Public Enterprise DP. I so move, Mr. President.
I think you should rephrase your motion that the Senate receives and consider. You said to lay, correct? You said lay. You said lay, and you didn't ask consider. Consider and consider.
Okay, to consider, and thank you, Mr. President. To consider, to receive and consider the report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Just wait. Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Well, we didn't get a seconder. I will seconder, please.
Thank you. Nasiru Sanzangondera, representing Katsina North. I rise to second that we do receive and consider the report as moved by Senator Haruna Manu. I so second.
Of the motion moved by Senator Haruna Manu and seconded by Senator Sanazon Gwandara, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may lay your report. You may now present your report, Senator Manu Haruna, the Vice Chairman of the committee.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, you recall that at the plenary on November 4th, 2023, a communication from Mr. President requesting for the approval of the Senate borrowing plan was read on the floor and was referred to Committee on Local and Foreign Debt for further legislative action. The total borrowing request as captured in the attached schedule of Mr. President request is 7,944,508,559 United States dollars and 100 million euros. A report number one, the Joint Committee request recommending the approval of the project amounting to the sum of 7,444,508,559 United States dollars and 100 million euros under the 2022 to 2024 external borrowing rolling plan was laid before the Senate and was considered on the 30th December 2023. Following the resumption of the committee's consideration of the outstanding request and after legislative interactions, deliberations, and due diligence, the committee hereby submits its report and sought for the approval of the recommendation therein. The committee notes, most importantly, the terms and conditions under which the loan will be borrowed will not in any manner compromise the sustainability of the Nigerian economy or hinder the integrity and independence of Nigeria as a sovereign nation. The committee therefore recommends as follows: that the Senate do approve the ongoing negotiation of external borrowing in the sum of 500 million United States dollars for Bureau of Public Enterprise, that the terms and conditions of the loan from the funding agency be forwarded to the National Assembly prior to the execution for concurrence and proper documentation. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you for going straight to the important elements in your report and doing that precisely and in a very good time. I don't think there's anyone that really wants to go to the prayers or chairman of professional committee want to make contribution.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, very distinguished colleague. I think what I'm about to seek clarification for, I found out that in the recommendation, they are just giving us a report on the earlier report that was presented by the committee on the $7.9 billion or trillion dollars
Presence in Uzu 1 local government area to put a permanent stop to the incessant killings. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Mandate the Senate Committee on Legislative Compliance, Police Affairs, and National Security and Intelligence to ensure compliance and prefer lasting solution. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Father, as the Minister or the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to provide relief materials to the victims to cushion the effects of these unwarranted attacks. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Additional prayer, Senator Patrick Ndubeze. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President, my name is Senator Engineer Patrick C. Ndubeze, FNS. I want to add here, this is not the first time we have this kind of conflict in this chamber.
To party go straight to your prayer.
I need to explain before I put the prayer so
No,
that
our rule does not allow that. Say your prayer, look for a
okay.
seconder, and move forward.
My prayer here is that we should make it mandatory that all cattle rearers should go and open ranch. That's the answer to this.
Favor. Sorry, seconder. No seconder. Senate Minority Whip.
Additional prayer, Mr. President. What the additional prayer is that we commend the state government and the security agents for the efforts they have put in bringing peace and security to the community. Thank you.
Conda, are you ready to second? No. A seconder. Seconder, please. Oh, minority leader. Are you from?
Mr. President,
this is leadership solidarity.
I rise to second the additional prayer moved by the minority whip that the state government and security agencies should be commended for the efforts they have put in bringing normalcy to the communities affected. I so second.
Those in favor of this additional prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Asia, so I'm sure you agree with what minority leader said. But you didn't. We didn't see that in form of vote, so you did not. So you agree. Thank you very much. You are not allowed to speak. You are not given the. You are not giving the floor is not yielded to you. You may sit down. Thank you. Any additional prayer? No. So thank you very much, Senator Asia, for bringing forward this motion, and it's always good that the lives and properties of the people of this country should always be put in the front border. And you've attested to this uh, constitutional provision and general principle of leadership by bringing forward this motion. So we thank you very much for taking the lives and properties of your people to importantly. And I also commend the minority whip for putting the record straight because whoever did well should be commended. The state government did very well from what you've said, and also the police and the army. They should be commended because when you commend them, that will propel them to do more. But if someone did something well and you fail to commend such person, that will not really be good, and it will bring some um, level of lack of satisfaction in terms of performance, in the future on the aspect of those who really perform well in any aspect of our security such as this. So thank you all for making your robust contribution, and we hope that peace will be brought to bear, will prevail, peace will prevail in that local government. Thank you very much. Leader of the Senate.
Your Excellency, the President of Senate, the seventh order and the last order of the day. This motion standing in the name of Senator Kawu Suleiman on the urgent call to the President CNC to resuscitate local government system in Nigeria. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Kawu Suleiman to move the motion.
Senator Kawu Suleiman Kano South, the floor is yielded to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I remain Suleiman Abrahamani, Kau Sumaila, OFR, representing Kano South Senatorial District from Kano. Mr. President, it is a motion call on Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Army Forces, to restate local government system in Nigeria. The Senate notes that in the history of local Nigerian government system, local government are meant to be thread wavering development close to the ground as the closest tier of administration to the people. They hold the potential to address local needs directly and shape communities from the inside out. But the story of Nigeria's local government system is one of the promise and paradox, woven with a thread of hope and frustration. Also note that the journey began in 1976 with local government reform, aiming to decentralize power and empower communities as self-government entities with elected officials. Local government handle critical aspects of community life, like primary education, healthcare, sanitation, local infrastructure, and community security. It was a dream of grassroots democracy, where decisions were made closer to the people they impacted. Aware that Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he served as governor of Lagos State from 1999 to 2007, demonstrated sincere passion for the autonomy of local government in Lagos State. This can be grasped when he purportedly established 37 LCDs within local government in Lagos State and introduced reforms to strengthen them. Also aware that the Senate President of the Senate, the Senate President, Senator Goodwill Afabio, when served as governor of Akwa Ibom, started from 2007 to 2015, implemented various initiatives to improve service delivery at the local level, such as rehabilitating infrastructure, investing in healthcare and education, and launching poverty alleviation programs, as well as deducting 10% of the IGR to local government, which informed groundbreaking achievement by local government in Akwa Ibom State. What is that, however, the dream of achieving the objective of the local government system encountered harsh realities. Successive government often eroded local government autonomy, limiting their financial resources and control over decision making. Corruption scandals and management tarnished the image of some local government, fueling public cynicism. Uneven development across the country also meant limited resources were only sometimes distributed fairly, leaving some communities feeling neglected. neglected. Uh, Further worried, there are some corrections. Further worried that some local government play crucial role in frustrating local government autonomy in Nigeria via constitutional alteration. Some of the reasons why the governors frustrate the local government autonomy include governors and state house of assembly obtain oppose amendment that strengthens local government autonomy, fearing a loss of control over resources and power. They connive with legislators or influence public opinion to sway votes against such amendments. Two, many states continue to hold or manipulate statutory allocation meant for local government, hindering their financial independence and the ability to function effectively. Some governors appoint their loyalists or party members to key positions in local government, undermining democratic principles and accountability at local level. Governors may influence state legislature to pass law restricting local government power and decision making, further limiting their autonomy. Concern that with limited financial and operational autonomy, local government may struggle to effectively address local security concerns like community policing initiative, intelligence gathering, and infrastructure maintenance. Also concerns that without genuine control and decision-making power, local government may be unable to tailor security measures to specific community needs and to build trust with residents, hindering cooperation and effectiveness. Disturb that without the power to initiate and manage local economic development initiatives like attracting business, investing in skill training, and promoting local entrepreneurship, local government may be less equipped and address unemployment. Also disturbs that reliant on higher level allocation, local government may lack sufficient resources for essential infrastructure maintenance and development, leading to the deterioration of roads, water system, and vital services in the communities. Both as that Nigerian current security challenges are deeply concerned, and the lack of adequate financial autonomy for local government poses a significant obstacle to effectively address them. Without sufficient resources, local governments are unable to invest in crucial security architecture, including training personnel, improved infrastructure, and community engagement initiatives. This significantly hinders their ability to participate effectively in national security efforts, leaving communities vulnerable and jeopardizing the overall safety of the nation. And of course, also bothers that the proverb, an idle man is devil workshop, ring true in the context of Nigerian security challenges. Local government, once major employers, are financially constrained and unable to hire the necessary staff. This surge in unemployment creates a pool of vulnerable individuals susceptible to criminal recruitment, further excavating the nation's security issue. Accordingly, I urge the Senate resolve to urge Mr. President and the Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Army Forces to champion the cause of full autonomy for local government in our nation. The challenge we face, persistent security threat, rural-urban migration, decaying infrastructure, and widespread unemployment demand bold action, and we believe that empowering local government holds the key to unlocking a brighter future for Nigeria. Convene a national dialogue involving governors, state legislators, local government officials, civil societies organizations, and community leaders to discuss the roadmap toward achieving full local government autonomy. Use his leadership and the influence to persuade the federating units and all critical stakeholders in the constitutional alteration process and administrating to embrace the vision of full local government autonomy. Also, I am urging the President to champion and change to the Constitution that enshrine and guarantee genuine independence of local government, granting them control over their resources, decision-making authority, and power to chart their development path. Urge federal government to fully comply with the existing legal provision that empower government, ensuring timely release of allocated funds directly to their bank account and streamlining administrative process, unified electoral system, and tenure of office of the chairman, councillors of local government throughout Nigeria. Finally, stop further with the allocation of funds to caretaker committee at local government area. And finally, carry out any assignment which, in the opinion of the Senate, can assist in achieving the objective of this motion. I so submit, Mr. President. Thank you,
Thank you,
my dear
Mr. President,
colleagues.
Senator Leader. After Senator Alero, you speak. Sorry. Senator Alero should speak. Being a former governor, probably he will give us a way out. Second, and then make your contribution. And then thereafter, the minority leader will speak, and the former president of the Senate will also speak.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I remain Mohammed Adam Ali, representing the good people of Kebbi Central. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, let me first and foremost commend the mover of this motion, that is Abdurrahman Suleiman Kaur. In seconding it, I must confess that some of the issues he raised are constitutional. The autonomy of a local government, the system, cannot be guaranteed without altering the 1999 Constitution. Distinguished colleagues, you could recall that attempts were made in the Ninth Senate to amend the Constitution to make local government completely independent. Unfortunately, when we pass, the amendment at the National Assembly, at the state level, it was frustrated simply because the governors were not interested in making local governments autonomous. Secondly, Mr. President, the issue of INEC conducting local government elections cannot be done without amending the Constitution that made it possible for state independent electoral commissions to be established and to be maintained by the state government. And it is the state independent electoral commission that conducts local government elections, not the National Independent Electoral Commission. Equally, the local government joint account is the monster that really frustrates the independence of local government. I'm happy the mover of the motion gave historical analysis of how the local government were operating when we started in 1999. By then, I was a governor. I didn't even know what each local government gets, because by then they were getting the allocation directly from the federation account. I think Governor Ozokalu can testify to that. It was later on that the then president said there is a constitutional provision that makes it mandatory for every state to open what we call local government joint account. And he said local government allocations should not be released to the local government directly until the state government open what they call local government joint account. And when that local government joint account was opened, all allocations for local government were channeled to that account. And then at the end of every month, the governor had already constituted what we call local government joint account committee that would allocate all the funds that came into that account, plus the 10% allocation, 10% allocation of internally generated revenue for the state that goes into that account. Having said that, Mr. President, unfortunately, this is not working.
And that's why the security situation in the country is compounded. The healthcare delivery system in the country is not working, particularly at the local government level. The educational system, as we all know, particularly primary education, which is supposed to be the responsibility of the local government, they are no longer capable of carrying out these responsibilities because the resources that are coming are being cornered by the government, by the governors. They only give them money to pay salaries, and that's all. So there is no other time, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, to amend the Constitution and to make it possible for local government to operate autonomously and to function as enshrined in the 1999 Constitution. And I will quote Section 7, Mr. President, Constitutional Provision, Section 7. With your permission, Mr. President, local government system, Section 7 of the Constitution. The system of local government by democratically elected local government council is under this Constitution guaranteed, and accordingly, the government of every state shall, subject to Section 8 of this Constitution, ensure that their existence under a law which provides for the establishment, structure, composition, finance, and functions of such council. Mr. President, this is where the state government came in and decided to emasculate the autonomy of local government. Most of them, they made laws, and in the laws they made it absolutely necessary for the councils to operate under.
You have 1 minute, Minister.
So, in when the Mr. President, this section, the governors are using it to make laws that will make them to control the local government. And all the finances of the local government go to them to the extent that they will not be able to discharge the functions given to them by the Constitution. So I suggest, Mr. President, in conclusion, that we must amend the 1999 Constitution to make it possible for the local government to function efficiently and effectively. Unless we do that, it will be a mirage to expect the local government to perform their constitutional responsibilities. I rest my case, Mr. President.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for the wonderful lecture you delivered. It's beyond contribution to this debate. You have captured the entire, the historical perspective and what it entails in all. Thank you for the good um, lecture you've given us. So, Manuel Leader, being former chairman of a local government, let's hear from you. Then we hear from the former president of Senate. Well, former president of Senate first, before former speaker.
Thank you, Mr. President.
We have a former governor, 1999 set, would also be
distinguished colleagues. Mr. President, I think the most abused institution in the governance structure of this country is the local government. Mr. President, I want to commend my friend and colleague who has with some courage brought forth the issue of local government autonomy once more on the floor of the Senate. Mr. President, you will recall that on several occasions, issues of local government autonomy has come up on the floor of the Senate, even up to the level of the Constitutional Review Committee. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I think the abuse of the local government system is no longer new to anybody. The issue that we have now is who will bear the cat. Mr. President will recall that it has been mentioned on the floor of this Senate that over 17 local states in this country are operating the caretaker committee system, which is a complete violation of Section 7.1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Yet, nobody has picked up the challenge of confronting state governments with such aberration. And so I think that this motion, therefore, is directed at the appropriate quarter, the President and Commander-in-Chief of this country, that he alone must find literally a political solution to this impasse in the administration of the local government in this country. Mr. President, the law, the Constitution is misinterpreted virtually by state governments that confront a system like that because they think that there is a lacuna in the whole process. And so when they say democratically guaranteed, and they say the state government should provide for a law for its existence, that is not to abuse the local government system. But again, you don't have houses of assemblies that will confront the state governments that violate the constitution in this manner. And therefore, Mr. President, I think that while we are preparing for a review of the constitution, waiting for the state assemblies to learn their lessons of ensuring grassroots development, because the local government is the foundation of our democracy, we should not spare any effort in bringing it to the court of public opinion, the abuse of the local governments by the state governments that see the local governments as cash cows that they can use at the expense of the development of our communities. So I support this motion. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank
President.
you. The former Senate President, then the former Governor of Abia State will have the floor, and then his deputy will follow up.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Ahmed Ibrahim.
Former deputy.
Lawan, I represent Yobe North, Senatorial District. Mr. President, let me say from the outset that I support this motion wholeheartedly. And let me say that when democracy sometimes is referred to as a government of the people, by the people, for the people, I think it's more of talking the local government level. All of us here, including Mr. President, when elections will be held, even for the presidency, we go back to our local government areas. And that is where the efficiency and effectiveness of governance should be instituted and maintained. Alas, what we have is a reverse. Mr. President, today's situation, and I mean the security situation of Nigeria, can be attributed to the comatose state of our local government system in Nigeria. Those days when the local government functioned, whether it was native authority or whatever, we had better security arrangements and were safer and better and more secure than now. And until the local government system functions, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, will be on a wild goose chase. Our security will continue to be deleterious. And therefore, here is the challenge. The political elites in Nigeria, regardless of what level you play your politics, our challenge is, let's be patriotic enough. Let's be statesmanly enough. Come together. Federal government, that is the presidency, the National Assembly, the state governors, the state assemblies, and even the local governments, and fashion out with a finality how and why our local governments should now function better. I think it will be asking Mr. President too much to say Mr. President should deal with this issue. This is a democracy. Mr. President takes the lead, but we also have full responsibility and obligations to support in whatever way we can through constitutional amendments and alterations, and our governors too. They have strong responsibilities. In fact, it's when we come together in a room that we can tell ourselves the truth. And if we decide to be truthful to ourselves, then this issue must be resolved. Local governments must be effective, must be guaranteed as the Constitution states very clearly. And of course, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I will also urge that we find a way on improving the capacity of those who run the local government system. Because I believe that this requires devolution of powers, giving the local governments a lot more because they are closer to the people. In fact, you hear the states saying they want the federal government to devolve powers to them. So far, they have, I think, their hands full because they have taken most of their own and part of what the local governments are supposed to do. And therefore, what we need to do is to insist on constitution amendment, but also I like that prayer too, where there will be a true dialogue led by Mr. President, where we tell ourselves the truth, we lead Nigerians who have been given the mandate, and we must be truthful to ourselves that until we let the local government function, this country will remain, God forbid, under this kind of insecurity and, of course, uncertain economic and political development. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you. Please, I can see people are very tired, so 2 minutes, please. 2 minutes. Former governor of Abia State.
Mr. President, they have just said what I wanted to say, but I would like to add a little thing because if we don't go back to the local government, we are not ready for banditry and kidnapping people. When I was governor, Senator Abaribe is here, the councillors used to give contracts to grade roads. The chairman of a local government was a very important person. They controlled their votes. Nobody will come to my here to look for anything. They were doing everything in the local government. People that would like to come to Abuja will go to the local government council to look for contracts. So, in supporting this motion, I'm going to say that the only way we can solve what is happening in our country today is to return local government money 100% to the local government council and improve the capacity of the people running local government. The capacity must be as equivalent of anything. Like, you cannot just carry anybody say run this local government. The local governments are getting 3, 4, 500 million naira as a monthly allocation. So, Mr. President, help us to implement what my colleague Kawo has already said in this, because we need the local government council authorities. Please. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Abarbe, the former deputy governor of Abia State, was a deputy to Senator, former governor Orji Uzokalo of Abia State. You have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you.
I remain in Abaribe, Abia South. I want to adopt everything that has been said while supporting this motion, but I just want to make a couple of points. One, we can see now that there is actually not so much that is wrong with the 1999 Constitution. A lot of people always continue to complain about the Constitution and say, oh, let's change the Constitution. But you can now see that the framers of the Constitution had Nigeria in mind. Because when we're talking about local government funds, what they said was that in addition to the funds coming from the federal government, that the state will add before it goes to the local government. But it has been bastardized, just like Senator Aliero, former governor, has said. Now, the real problem is simple. Who controls the governors? Under the law, they have immunity. So you can no longer sue them for utilizing the funds wrongly. Also, governors right now control the state houses of assembly. So they will never let the state houses of assembly make laws that will remove them from directly supervising how those funds will go. Therefore, in amending the Constitution, we should go back to Section 7, where this local government controlled by governors is, which is on the joint state and local government account, which means that if we control that and put strictures separating the state from having access to those ones, then we solve the problem. I think that that is the way to go. And I support a constitutional amendment to that effect. I so submit.
The chairman of Operation Committee will bear his mind to know how it goes in tandem with federal appropriations, and then the speaker of a former speaker, sorry, will bear his mind, even though I don't know whether Adamawa, gave his note when we had similar, constitutional conference, review exercise the other time, and then thereafter, the future, the governor to be will bear his mind, and then we'll round up. So, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, very distinguished colleague. Let me start by commending the mover of the motion. I listened with rapt attention with the spirit in which he presented the motion before the Senate. And let me equally thank all former deputy governors who are now talking. Because one time or the other, they are beneficiary of the system. And we thank you that they are now looking positively that Mr. Mr. President, please protect me. Protect me.
You are fully
I'm fully protected.
You are protected from the former governors.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. President, in speaking to the motion, I want to say this, that I know for a known fact that during the last constitutional amendments, there was a move in this direction. And I am aware that the former president also supported the ideas as proposed by the mover of the motion. But the implementation stage, I don't know where we are. But I strongly believe that the prayers as contained in this motion, we should properly look into it so that we can provide a long-lasting solution to these challenges that have confronted our local governments at various state levels. I think with that, we can have one common goal, one common front to address all these issues that are contained in this motion and regarding our local government. I just submit, Mr. President.
Thank you, Chairman, for abiding by the time given to you. Former Speaker, Adama Civil Assembly, Senator Abbas Aminu, you have the floor, just 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. In supporting this motion, Mr. President, I want to add to the whole submission that is made by the single senators here. First, Mr. President, any amendment for local government to function properly, we in the National Assembly need to be transparent, need to be open on this. And I have experience in this line, Mr. President. When we were called as a speaker to discuss the amendment in the Ninth Senate, I made a comment that you either come with one amendment, either financial or administrative autonomy. You cannot take two of these autonomy at the same time. But now, this is not why the problem is. There is a clause that was hidden under the financial autonomy, which we complain that if you go with this clause, nobody will pass this amendment. That's why I say we need to be transparent, we need to be open to all stakeholders, as Senate President Emeritus has said. Everybody should be on board. The clause was that the state assemblies should pass a bill, a law, to deduct money from the state, deduct money from the local government, and hand over to the federal to pay teachers' salary in the states. And the only law that will monitor, direct, promote, discipline should be the law of National Assembly. We said no. Now, not many people know about this clause. Check the financial autonomy of the last amendment. The clause was the last clause that was inserted there. And we challenged, we said, no, we can't give our money and then another body will not be supervising, directing. Nobody is saying this. This is one of the issues that killed the financial autonomy of local government last Senate or last National Assembly. And that's the contribution I want to make. Mr. President, if you want to do it, let's be transparent. Let's be open. Let's call all stakeholders as suggested, so that everybody will be on board and the amendment will sail through. Thank you.
Thank you. Lastly, was Senator Oba Patrick, who wants to be governor. I don't know, maybe supporting here or the other side. So we're giving you 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Senator Ifan Yoba, representing the good people of Anambra South, Mr. President. Mr. President, it's very, very important that we will take this motion very serious. I want to thank the mover, Abdulrahman Suleiman Kawu. And Mr. President, if we want to tell ourselves the truth, promote good governance in this country, and to be seen as people that are very serious, Mr. President, we need to look at that Section 7 of 1999 constitutional framework. We need to amend it so that we can start receiving, we can start understanding or having values for democracy in our respective states. A state like Anambra State has not conducted local government election in the last 18 years. And when you see the youth unemployment, decadency.
18 years?
18 years, sir. In the last 18 years. So we don't have local government election. So, and the most important thing is, Mr. President, when you look at the decadency of governance, poor infrastructure, hunger, non-employment of youth, banditry.
Senator Vito Ome is saying that you have only 1 minute remaining.
Mr. President, I should be protected, Mr. President. I should be protected. I should be protected. He's now in Labour Party, so and I think he's flowing with me. So, sir, and so many roads that is destroying the root of development in Nigeria. Mr. President, is the cause of, I think the cause, the fundamental cause is non-implementation of that 1999 framework. So I am supporting this motion, and we should be serious. We should be serious with it.
Senator Benson, we are done with the debate, but since you are insisting, I'll give you 1 minute.
I'm Senator Benson Friday Komboe, representing Bayelsa Central Senatorial District. I've listened very carefully over this bill or motion and taking from Ojokalo's submission. Local government, rightly, is the lowest ebb where development has to be taken to the people. And as one that have participated right from councillor, local government chairman, and the House of Assembly, I think I stand a very good ground to explain some of the flaws that we have exercised over the time. As rightly said, while as a councillor, even though it was in the military regime, we enjoyed some bit of autonomy because almost at every given time, the local government funds were directly paid into the local government account. That was in 1992, 1993. Again, as local government chairman in 97, 98. After the accounts, after the FAC has remitted monies to, sorry, sir. Yes.
I address the chair.
The
Go ahead.
local government were directly getting their monies. And I, as an operative, we were getting our monies and we exercised the right of the local government chairman as at
You
then.
have 1 second.
As
From
I'm
what you are
going
saying, you are
straight,
really in support of the motion.
yes, sir. What I'm saying is that
just 1 second remaining for you.
As a state operative, the experience has been that the governors, what I want to emphasize is that the governors have been the problem. The governors have always refused. And that is why, even though the state assembly members are so willing, each time we go into voting, we have not been able to get the two-third requirement of the total number of states.
How can we change that narrative?
That is where I'm coming, sir. In order to do that, the clauses that you have been forwarding in the past have always added addendums. They have always come with some other subsections that does not have anything to do with the local government autonomy. And that is why it has always had some setback. And so for us to have it completely passed into law, we have to go straight. If you want the local government finances to go to the local government straight, that has to be explicitly written and the clauses should not be added with any other thing.
Thank you. The Senate Committee on the Review of the Constitution will take note, which I chair.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for this insight. We'll
Thank
look
you
at
very
that.
much.
Final. Former governor of, sorry, let me give a former local government chairman just 1 minute because the time is off. I just decided to give because of a former chairman of local government. Just 1 minute so that
Thank
former
you,
governor of Plateau
Mr.
Right.
President. I'm Senator Daluse Mutar Mohammed, representing Katsina South. I want to sincerely appreciate the mover of this motion and also as a chairman Constitution Review Committee. I think it is important and the bedrock of most of the Nigerian problem because I served as local government chairman for 10 years, 3 times caretaker, 3 times elected. Mr. President, if we can salvage Nigeria, it's only when we give local governments autonomy. It will resolve and it will even help most of the challenging problems we have. That is the security situation, the economic situation, the pressure we have as leaders, because the movement of people from rural areas to urban areas is because of lack of resources available in their local government. They have to go for greater faster. Mr. President, is a challenge that we must look at it headlong to make sure we salvage this country by engaging the critical stakeholders to ensure this amendment is done when it comes to constitutional amendment, because it was during Obasanjo regime there is a serious crisis in Katsina and Lagos State. So, Mr. President, as a matter of fact, this is the only foundation that will
Thank
solve
you. You have made a
all
point.
our problems in Nigeria. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. He's saying once we do that, no more insecurity at a local level, no more poverty, no more rural urban migration. That will be reduced to barest minimum. Thank you very much. Senator Simon Bakola, former governor of Plateau State, maybe he allowed for local government autonomy when he was
Yes,
first in
I
that
did.
state.
Yes.
Aha. So this is what we want. So please tell us.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished senators. Simon Lalong, the member representing the Plateau South, senator representing Plateau South. Mr. President, I stand here to support this motion because I exhibited it in Plateau State. When people say, well, how did we achieve peace? It was because I gave autonomy for 4 years before I left. People are talking about constitutional issues. If you are from Oyo, I am aware that there was a Supreme Court judgment in respect to administration of local government, judgment of a court. And interestingly, Mr. President, this case started and it was encouraged, I will say, sponsored by our current president. He was not then president, President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He said we must fight for constitutional issues. And he came into Oyo to fight for local governments. The matter went to Supreme Court. Judgment was given clearly. If you read that case of Oyo, you will know that it is even, we are getting late. By now, we should follow what the Supreme Court said and give autonomy to local governments. Otherwise, even after that judgment, Mr. President, a lot of governors are still doing caretaker committees. The Supreme Court said caretaker committee is alien, it is unconstitutional, it is illegal. If something is illegal, why are we then allowing them to take funds from local government? It is very simple. There's no need to take money illegally and you are spending money illegally. So I support that motion. Without that, that's why I said those from Oyo, somebody said somebody did. I am aware. I've been the chairman of this several times, Governors Forum. There was no election in Anambra for over 8 years. Later, there was 1 month, 1 year election, and after that, caretaker committee today. That is what is happening. So if we want to help people to go back, if we want security to be addressed at the local government level, I want us to support. It will not be easy. We started the autonomy for judiciary and the legislature. It was not easy. But today, they have autonomy. So this one too is possible. And I support the motion that local governments should be granted their autonomy. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, former governor of Plateau State. If all governors are done the way you did,
yes,
or they are doing what you did, of course, the entire nation will have changed. The insecurity we are talking about wouldn't be there. Rural urban migration will be reduced to the barest minimum. The economy of the local governments area will be booming, and so on and so forth. So, thank you. Before I go to the prayers, let me say one thing. The facts have been explained by all the speakers that during the military regime and the early part of the Fourth Republic, the local government areas were having their full autonomy. and there was full sense of security prevailing then. The economies of all these local governments was booming. Rural urban migration was very, very small. As said by Senator Oji Uzokalu, even councillors were awarding contracts. So the money was there and they were doing very, very well. Even some local governments were very rich because they were having their internal generated revenue. Why did that happen? First of all of you have forgotten who conducted that local government election, the local government election that brought those people to power. Who did that? It was INEC. It wasn't state electoral commission. So people went on their own, contested for elections. They weren't errand boys of anybody, and they won their elections. These are people that had credibility, that knew what they were doing, and so that's why you have that scenario being the way it was. But later, what happened? Later, the elections were conducted by state electoral commission, and there were no elections. Even now, elections were just by their just called elections. Some will even swear in shrine, in churches, in mosques that okay, if you put my name, I will ever be loyal to you, and so on and so forth. So, what do you expect from those people? So they will, after the grants have been given to local governments, they'll give them blank check. They will sign, and that money will be removed in line with the whims and caprices of the state governors. We know this. You see paperwork. You see, everything being done properly, but that is just what you could see on a mere paper. But the real thing is done in line with the whims and caprices of the state governors. So there are chains of action to be taken. It's not only for us to vote for the autonomy of local governments. We must vote for a body different from a body that be controlled by state government to conduct local government elections. Otherwise, forget it. We must return local government elections to INEC. Or if you are not listening to INEC, create a body which is independent of state governors in the first place. If you do not that, if you don't follow this chain of actions, and you say you want to have autonomy, even with this proposal we're having, we'll go and do it. But who are those to man or to control those funds? Chairman. Appointed by who? By governors. So in Hausa, will you say, but the church doesn't even. It doesn't change anything. So we have to, concentrate on two things. Mode of election, those who are going to conduct the elections, to have the people that are going to man the local government areas, have an independent, truly independent body to conduct the election. Then we go for amending the constitution to allow for the autonomy. And as been said, the president is a true Democrat, a progressive Democrat. He believes in the autonomy of local governments. I know that, but in this process, he will only lead. Then we in the National Assembly will follow, and then he will convince the governors because we are operating a democracy. The governors should be prevailed upon because they control the state. I'm sorry to say this, but it's a fact. They control the state assemblies so that they will understand this. So that we will now have, just as before, we have normalcy in our local governments. Now, most of you spend billions of federal funds to provide boreholes in our local governments, build health centers. But after you've done that, those projects remain unattended to. Nobody maintains them. They rot away because the local government are supposed to maintain them just because of just 5,000 naira to buy small hole or not to fix a borehole. That borehole remain like that without being fixed, and it will no longer be used by the locals because the councillor or the local government chairman that will provide that money does not have. He doesn't have. They don't have the funds. So, having said so, let's go to the prayers. Prayer 1. Urge, sorry, urge the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to 1. Champion the cause of full autonomy for local governments in our nation. The challenges we face: persistent security threats, rural-urban migration, decaying infrastructure, and widespread unemployment demand bold action, and we believe that empowering local governments holds the key to unlocking a brighter future for all Nigerians. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Convene a national dialogue involving governors, state legislators, local government officials, civil society organizations, and community leaders to discuss the roadmap towards achieving full local government autonomy. Those in favor of the prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Use his leadership and influence to persuade the federating units and all critical stakeholders in the constitutional alteration processes and administrative bottlenecks to embrace the vision of full local government autonomy. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Also, champion changes to the Constitution that enshrine and guarantee genuine independence for local governments, granting them control over their resources, decision-making authority, and the power to chart their development paths. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Urge the federal agencies to fully comply with existing legal provisions that empower local governments, ensuring timely release of allocated funds directly to their bank accounts and streamlining administrative processes. Those in favor of the prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. But I'm not getting it. Unfold or unified electoral system and tenure of office of the chairman and councillors of the local government areas in Nigeria. Those in favor of these prayers say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Further, stop further with the allocation of funds to caretaker committee led local government areas. Those in favor say aye.
Your seven.
Huh? Amendment?
Yes.
You want to amend this prayer?
Yes. My name is Ekong Samson. Very respectfully. Well, I wish I was allowed to speak earlier. I'm a two-time chairman of council. I have some insight to also have prophet. I think we may have some lacuna in providing a safety belt in 7.
Senator Sampson, you are experienced. You've been in the National Assembly for more than 20 or so years. Goes directly to your amendment. Move it as a motion, somebody will second, and then we'll put it to vote.
Yes, I move respectfully that given the apparent conflict that 7 may have with 7, I move that 7 be expunged.
A seconder? No seconder. So it fails. Stop further with the allocation of funds to caretaker committee-led local government areas. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Carry out any other assignment which is, in the opinion of the Senate, can assist in achieving the objectives of this motion. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Additional prayer, Minority Leader.
Mr. President, my additional prayer is to urge the Attorney General of the Federation as the Chief Law Officer of the Federation to enforce the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended as it relates to local government and its functions. I so move.
Those, seconder, please.
No, sir. When you look into
No. Wait, now we have a motion on the floor. But you say to enforce the Constitution, enforce the provision of the Constitution, right? Enforce the provision of the Constitution. Second, Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ositan Enugu West. I second the motion as moved by the minority leader. I so second.
Now the question. Those in favor of the motions, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You are the mover of the motion. Do you have additional prayer?
no, it is not additional prayer, sir. It's just to allow me to do my observation, sir. The prayer of our leader, when you look into prayer 5, all federal government agencies, which Attorney General is part of, his office is part of.
You are right. It's part of that.
Comply with the existing legal, like what our.
No, it encompasses that. Yes, you are right. But it has been passed.
Maybe it take care of his.
No problem. The more the merrier. It makes it more stronger. Thank you. So with this, let me commend Senator Kau Sumaila for bringing forward this motion. This is apt, it's germane, and it's in tandem with the zeal of all of us to bring sanity to bear in our local governments. The local government system in this country is dead. Is dead. Local government areas cannot do anything. They don't do anything now to the people. It's quite wrong. Their monies are being illegally appropriated by the governors. They'll tell them, go and write a request. You want to do this? They'll write a request, purporting to be theirs, and the money will be utilized by the governors. This is what we see everything. Well, let me not generalize. Some governors, of course, are nice. They don't do that, but some do that. Some. But there are some good governors out there. But the best thing is to safeguard the system. By making a general alteration to the Constitution to safeguard the local government system. So we thank you very much, and we thank those governors who are abiding by the provisions of the Constitution, who are not tampering with the funds of the local governments. And those who are doing that, please should desist for the sake of our nation, for the security of our country. To this end, let me commend all the senators that contributed to this bill, because it is unanimously supported. No one person went against this motion. So we thank you very much for your contribution and for your demonstration for the well-being of our people, because you demonstrated that you care for those who are at the grassroots of our nation. Senate Leader.
Mr. Senate President, it's been a beautiful day.
Okay, no, well, I think you are not the one to, because you have set the time. So to this end, this there's no, as I said, there's no need for any motion since we have extended time. We've extended time. So this note that this August Senate stands adjourned to tomorrow, being the 16th day of May 2024 by 11 a.m. prompt.